CM Punk has been fired by AEW, and we're going to talk about it right here, right now on TAS. One day before AEW All Out, and CM Punk has been fired from the company. No, this is not a joke. No, this is not clickbait. No, this is literally none of that. This is a statement right here. I'm going to downsize this for you, and we're going to read it together. Boy, oh boy, is this one interesting. And to be honest with you guys, I'm not shocked, and we're going to talk about it. Statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. AEW has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, general manager, and head of creative of AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk must be terminated with cause. Tony Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come to as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interests of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. This is a lot to take in. Look, there's a lot of he say, she say in regards to the reports of what happened between CM Punk and Jack Perry. I'll let you guys decide and form your own opinion on that. But the common denominator in all of the drama with AEW and CM Punk is that CM Punk is part of the problem. The biggest criticism that I think myself and a lot of people had, whenever there's been reported drama in AEW, that there was really no leadership taking charge. And for that reason, I really do have to respect Tony Khan for making such a hard decision. Do not underestimate this decision. It's a very difficult one. And you got to think about this from a logical standpoint. Whether you're a fan of CM Punk or not, AEW is in a situation where they are still a relatively new business. They are trying to make great business decisions. CM Punk is great for business. We saw this. We know firsthand how much CM Punk changed the landscape for AEW. And I think without CM Punk, it was going to be a lot more challenging. And for that reason, I understand why it's a hard decision. But at the same time, too, Tony Khan as a leader, it's something I've always said. You know, there's been so many different reports, so many different things about Cody Rhodes and the Bucks and Tony Khan having issues with the EVPs and then stuff about Andrade and this person and that person. There's just been a lot of backstage drama that have been reported on, and we don't even know the accuracy of those things. But of course, when you see all of those reports throughout the years, you don't really see much being done. You don't hear about much being done. And I think a lot of people expected differently from Tony Khan. So it's very easy to say Tony Khan doesn't know what he's doing. But I don't feel like that is fair representation for Tony Khan. And that's why with a decision like this, it is relatively difficult for Tony Khan to make this decision. But I want to talk about this in a different perspective. CM Punk was a major part of AEW. But AEW has a lot of people who aren't being utilized. AEW has a lot of people who aren't being utilized correctly, in my opinion. AEW has a plethora of talent in the locker room. When everybody is talking about the CM Punk drama at All In, and they're not talking about these other performers, that's an issue. AEW really needs to start building up talent. They need to start making their new CM Punk. They need to create the next CM Punk, right? They don't need to be reliant on WWE people coming in and stuff like that. I don't like that strategy. I don't. I think they need to develop people and personalities and get them to the point where you don't have to have situations like this happen. But I do think it was a very, very tough decision, which honestly, if the reports are accurate in the way it went down, if CM Punk really started all of this, yeah, I don't want to see people lose their jobs and stuff. But at the same time, too, you got to do what's best for business. In this case, this is best for business. I think this sends a huge message to the locker room for AEW. You know, for so many years, we've heard of all these reports where nothing's happened. Now CM Punk, the top guy, arguably their biggest star, you know, when you see that he's gone, I think that sends a message to talent that, like, hey, if you go around, you're not safe. And I think that's a good message to send. At the end of the day, Tony Khan understands that the decision is for the best interest of the company. And it is. I think WWE and AEW are ran a little bit differently. Maybe CM Punk wouldn't be able to get away with this stuff at all in WWE. They run a tight ship backstage. It's a little bit different back there. Who knows? But I really do feel for somebody like Ricky Starks, right? The reported match for All Out was supposed to be Ricky Starks and CM Punk for the Real World Championship. That's obviously not going down. CM Punk, what's happening with the Real World Championship? We don't know. It's a very, very tough situation for AEW, but they got to get through it. I think this is going to have more of an effect of short term than long term. Obviously, I feel for a lot of people who we should be talking about them and their skills and what they're doing on TV. But quite frankly, the AEW product right now, it's not as hot in that regard. I think there's a lot more interest in the backstage stuff than there is on TV. There's obviously a couple of good storylines, but I think the general consensus is that a lot of things that are happening backstage seem to take a way more priority. It's a huge priority for fans over what's actually happening on the program, and I think that's a problem. But I do feel for Ricky Starks. I feel for some of these people. It sucks. It's a shitty situation, and these types of situations shouldn't be happening. And I've seen a lot of people trying to normalize it. Well, back in the day, wrestlers, they used to just fight, and that's what it was. And like, dude, this is 2023. It's you got to make money. You gotta put food on the table. You got to run a business. And I can't imagine, especially like back in my old profession before I became a full-time YouTuber, like as a leader, if people had issues with each other, it's like, listen, we're going to talk about this, squash it, and we're going to do what's best for business. Because at the end of the day, it's best for everybody's own individual pockets to be on the same page. And if you can't handle that, then leave, right? Like, to throw fists or to fight, like, I just think that's such a stupid thing. I think there's something way more important than fighting about dumb shit. That's just my opinion, and maybe some of you guys will agree, disagree. It doesn't really matter. I think people are trying to normalize these types of behaviors. Oh, well, it happened back in the day. Well, this isn't back in the day. And I like CM Punk. I feel like, I feel like he was a big part of Collision. I thought Collision was great. Hopefully people step up. Like, that's the real thing here. Hopefully people step up. And then most importantly, if I'm AEW, it is going to hurt in the short term, but long term, hopefully they bounce back from this. Wrestling is better when there's two healthy promotions. There is nothing that the fans will never benefit from one of these companies dying. I promise you. So hopefully, this is kind of a wake up call for a lot of people. But with that too, I do want to point out that I don't want to see CM Punk done with wrestling. That's the reality. I don't know if AEW was a good fit for him. Him joining a company that was basically, I don't want to call him outcast, but I forgot what promo it was, but just a bunch of misfits getting together, creating a promotion, whatever. I mean, the point is, I feel like CM Punk needed structure. I think WWE and Impact would be great for him. Will he stay in the business? I don't know. What do you guys think?